If you always feel like you're batting 100, you're not challenging yourself. If you feel like you're so great at something, you need to step to the next level. You need to take on something bigger. Because whatever it is you're doing, you've already accomplished it. What is your advantage? What gives you an advantage over everybody else that's in competition with you? What is your advantage? I want you to think about that. And if you don't believe you have one, you do. Everyone does. We're all unique. We're all unique image bearers of God. We all have something that is gifted to us that will help us win in the world of sales, in the world of business, in the world of relationships, in the world of money. What is your advantage? And it can be a lot of different things. Some of us, our advantage is the wall behind us. When I first started in sales, I was horrible. I literally couldn't sell water to someone dying of thirst in the desert. But I didn't quit. And why was that? I had a family. I had a wife. I had a child. I had a grandmother living with us. I had a wall behind my back. I had burned the boats. It was all on me. It was on no one else. I had to figure it out. My advantage was the wall behind me. My back was up against a wall. And so success was my only option. Failure wasn't, to quote the great Eminem. What's your advantage? Maybe you don't have a wall. Maybe you had great parents. I had great parents. But maybe you had great parents. Maybe they financially provided for you. Maybe they put away savings for you. Maybe they introduced you to connections. Maybe your dad or mother was a great business person and had great relationships and made great introductions. Maybe you have a great family name, a great family reputation. Maybe you're involved in church or religion or a community where you're recognizable and where your name, your family name carries weight. Use that. Don't be ashamed of your past or your privileges. Not everybody has to be this story of guy hit the wall and then became great. Like if that's not you, like be grateful. I want my kids to not have that story. I want my kids to have the story of dad worked his ass off, became super successful, left us a ton of money so we can go invest in our own business, taught us everything about business, taught us everything about life. That's the story I want my kids to have. I don't want my kids to have a rags to riches story. That's my job to make sure they don't have that. But you gotta know what your advantage is. Because whenever you start something new, there's the starting place and then there's the good place, right? When you start something, you're not good until you get good. And then from good, you go to master. But good is where in sales you start actually making an income. You can actually start buying things. Master is when you're making millions. I'm still trying to get to mastery. I don't think I've achieved mastery yet. But between that part of starting and good, there's a gap that has to be closed. And I call that gap the carnage. The carnage of work that it's going to take to get from here to here. And when you're going through that carnage, it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to think that you just suck and you're not good. And that's not true. You're just new. You gotta give yourself some grace and understand that you're new. And I don't care how much experience you have in something similar. If you go start boxing, you're gonna suck at boxing until you practice and do enough work and embrace the carnage and get to a place where you're good. And guess what? If you go from boxing to kickboxing, you might not be all the way out here. You might have some skills which might bring you closer, but you're still gonna have to go through a level of carnage to get there. And then if you go from kickboxing to mixed martial arts, again, you might not be all the way out here of just having no skills. You have something. You're not starting at zero. You might be starting here, but there's still going to be an amount of carnage to get to here. I'm currently learning how to sell life insurance. Never really done it. Don't know much about it. I mean, I know much about it, right? But I have years of sales experience, nearly a decade. So I'm not starting someone who's all the way over here. I'm starting maybe closer because I've closed $100,000 deals. I've done B2B sales. I've done cold calling my whole life. I've done cold email, cold testing. I do have skills that will attribute, but there is still going to be a gap to get to here. There's still going to be a learning curve. And so what keeps us encouraged in that time zone between when we're not quite where we want to be is knowing that we have an advantage. Knowing that you have something that other people don't. It could be your looks. It could be your voice. It could be your understanding of social media. It could be, again, your story. It could be a lot of different things. But what's yours? What gives you that edge? And so when you feel like you suck, and you're gonna feel like you suck, doesn't matter who you are, we all do. I actually would argue that feeling like you suck is actually a good thing, because it means that you're growing. Like, if you always feel like you're batting 100, you're not challenging yourself. If you feel like you're so great at something, you need to step to the next level. You need to take on something bigger. Because whatever it is you're doing, you've already accomplished it. Maybe you're a great salesperson, and now it's time for you to learn how to manage other people. Maybe you're a great salesperson, but now it's time to start your own business. Maybe you're great at picking up women, but now it's time for you to get into a relationship. Feeling that suck is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But when you feel like you suck at something, you got to remember that you have something other people don't. Because if you don't remember that, you're just going to get discouraged and you're just going to walk away. So I want you to do this as an action step. I want you to write down 3 things that you think give you an advantage. And it can be any 3 things. It can be, I have 1,000 followers on social media. It can be, I survived a sickness when I was younger. It can be, I graduated with a 4.0 GPA in college. It can be, I was one of the fastest football players in the field. It can be, I've written a book. It can be, I have a great mastery over my voice. It can be, I can sing. Whatever it is. Okay? Write those things down. And just right next to it, write down how you think it relates to whatever field of endeavor. For instance, if you've ever broken your arm when you're a kid and you're selling in the medical industry, there's a relation there. That's the wall that you overcame. If you have an uncle or a dad who has connections into this industry, write that down and go talk to them and ask them about how they can help you engage. If you have a church that supports you, write that down. Remember that you are not at 0, almost ever. No one really starts at 0. Everyone has something. You just got to remember what your something is.